that is an afternoon treat. Good morning. Today we are doing a full day on my plate, how I hit 100 grams of protein and 25 grams of fiber while staying within my calorie target, because I know that can be really difficult to do. So hopefully this will give you some inspiration for meals and snacks that you can add into your day if you also have those goals. I'm a vegetarian, so everything I'm sharing will be plant-based. Let's get into it. Every single day, I start my day with a protein coffee. Super easy way to get some caffeine in, which is beneficial for both mental and physical performance in the morning, whether you're working out or just getting straight into work. My coffee is long gone at this point. It's like 10:30, and I think I finished it at maybe 8:15 this morning, but I did film it, so I'm gonna add those clips in right now, and I'll just quickly explain to you how I make it. I have a super simple recipe. I've been making the same coffee for probably 6 months now. I'm genuinely obsessed with it. It's so good. Of course, when I film, that's the pull that I get. Of course. This whole week, I've had the best pulls ever, and then today, as soon as I pull my camera out, that's what I get. Perfect. I prefer a latte, but you can do this with any coffee. So I just add a shot of espresso, about a tablespoon of caramel. I personally don't love sugar-free sweeteners in my coffee, so I use something with actual real sugar in it. And then about a cup of ultra-filtered whole protein milk. So I'm getting about 14 grams of protein in there. To be honest, I'm a little bit sleepy still and could use a little extra boost of caffeine. So I'm gonna be having a pistachio matcha ice cream smoothie bowl situation. I did prep this last night, and I'm gonna be making it in my Ninja Creamy, so it's a little bit more of an ice cream, thicker consistency. But if you don't have a Ninja Creamy, you can totally make this in a blender and make it more of a smoothie bowl. All I added was about a teaspoon of pistachio pudding mix, because I find it really difficult to get a strong pistachio flavor by using actual pistachios, funny enough. If you have it, you could also use pistachio extract for this. I also added about a tablespoon of monk fruit sweetener, a scoop of vanilla protein powder, and about a cup of ultra filtered whole protein milk, which you'll definitely see as a theme throughout my day because I think it tastes so incredible. It's so creamy, and I love milk, so it's just such an easy way to sneak some extra protein in. So I just mixed that up and popped it in the freezer overnight. It's kind of like having ice cream for breakfast with tons of protein, with a little bit of fiber, some carbs. I honestly feel like I'm living the dream. I wanted to chat briefly about one of the reasons I love tracking my food, even if I'm not in a calorie deficit or anything like that. It really helps me to get a sense of my protein and fiber throughout the day, because there's maybe a few grams here or there of protein or fiber in kind of random foods you wouldn't expect it. Let's be honest here. It's pretty tough to hit your protein and fiber goals, and I feel like every little bit counts. So when I'm able to get that daily total, it just takes the edge off a little bit. And you'd be surprised, like avocados randomly have a ton of fiber. The frozen pizza that I'm having for dinner tonight has 13 grams of protein in it. Obviously, tracking isn't gonna make sense for everyone, but if it's something that you are comfortable with, I find it super helpful, particularly for protein and fiber goals. Make sure you're picking up all of those little bits throughout the day that you might not even realize. So that said, let's go make some breakfast ice cream. Oh my God. Please just sit nicely. That will work. My 10-year-old self would be so excited to hear that as an adult, I am taking advantage of free will and having ice cream for breakfast. Now, she probably wouldn't be thrilled that it's like protein ice cream instead of the real thing, but I think she'd still be happy. The consistency of this is actually insane. Oh, I'm just absolutely destroying it. That's fine. So I love blackberries and raspberries as a great source of fiber and micronutrients. Problem is they're really expensive, and I swear they go bad within 24 hours of bringing them home from the store. So I like to get all of my berries frozen, and I find that since I have most of my fruit through smoothies, smoothie bowls, and yogurt bowls, so I actually don't mind that they're frozen. I think it actually gives a nice texture and consistency. So yeah, if you're trying to save a little bit of money, then highly recommend frozen berries. That was seriously so incredible. I can't imagine a more perfect breakfast, honestly. Pistachio ice cream always reminds me of my grandma because that was her go-to flavor whenever we'd go and get ice cream together. As a kid, I remember, getting my cotton candy flavored ice cream that was neon pink and blue and thinking, grandma's so weird. Like, why would she choose pistachio? And now as an adult, I fully, completely understand it because I'm also obsessed with pistachio ice cream. That little bit of like savoriness that it brings, balanced with the creaminess and sweetness, is just actually the best. A goal that I have for today is getting back into my hydration. I feel like the last few weeks, I haven't been great about it. My goal is to drink about 100 ounces of water a day, so it's a little more than 2 of these. I feel a lot more focused and energized hours when I'm hydrated, and it's so easy. I really have no excuse not to be drinking enough water. I just forget. So today I'm trying to get back into it. I know it can feel like a full-time job trying to hit all of your nutrition goals. There's a lot to do. And that is why I'm so excited to share Nourish, the sponsor of today's video. Nourish is the easiest way to find and speak to a registered dietitian covered by your insurance. They are committed to making dietitians accessible for everyone. They accept hundreds of insurance plans in all 50 US states, and 94% of Nourish patients pay $0 out of pocket, myself included. Appointments are held over Zoom, which I love, so you can take them from home. They have no surprise billing, so you'll get a cost estimate before your appointment. If your insurance denies it, they won't charge you anything above their initial estimate for the appointment, for any appointments that have already occurred. Signing up is so easy. It takes 5 minutes on their website from your phone or laptop. I went into my first Nourish appointment with tons of questions from my dietitian. He was so patient and so helpful. We talked about everything in my current supplement stack and what made sense to keep, what I might want to add in, and what might not actually be necessary. I struggle a little bit with hitting my protein goals, so I wanted to ask him about ideas for adding more whole foods into my diet and not relying so heavily on the kind of ultra processed protein supplements like protein bars or chips or things like that. He gave me a ton of great ideas, some of which I'm actually going to be sharing in today's video. He was also just so kind and supportive. Nourish dietitians are focused on helping you make lifelong changes instead of quick fixes like fad diets or restrictions. They're also focused on proactive rather than reactive healthcare, so you can start seeing a dietitian even if you don't have health concerns right now. Dietitians can actually do a lot more than you think. I was really surprised when I saw all of the different specialties that they had. They can help with weight management, eating disorders, women's health, gut health, sports performance, diabetes, and so much more. You guys know I'm so passionate about science-based health and fitness, and registered dietitians are truly the gold standard when it comes to evidence-based nutrition support. Click the link in my description box to book your first appointment with a Nourish dietitian, and thank you so much to Nourish for sponsoring this video. So, speaking of supplements, I wanted to walk you through the supplements I'm currently taking. But yeah, supplements are really individual, so it can be helpful to kind of get ideas for things that you might want to add in, but it's always important to check supplements with your doctor and a registered dietitian to make sure that they're aligned with your health background, health goals, and your needs. I'm gonna grab my supplements, but I need to brag a little bit first because this pantry has been an absolute disaster for months now, and finally this past weekend my boyfriend and I cleaned it out, and it is very gorgeous to me. I mean, it ain't much, but it's honest work. So we got baking, flours, that type of stuff on the top, spices and sauces. I know this still is hectic, but this is a lot better than it was, if you could believe that. Then we have a snacks and supplements floor. This is the one that's not super aesthetic, but this is stuff that we use every day. So it is what it is. Then down here is kind of like miscellaneous. We have some nuts and seeds, canned stuff, a few more baking items that overflowed. But look, you can actually see the floor now, which is incredible. Before this weekend, I could barely close this door. I was like kicking and shoving things in to get the door to shut. And then I have this cute little container with all of my supplements. We used to keep our protein powders on top of the fridge. My boyfriend liked that. I get it. It was convenient, but I thought it was super ugly. So my compromise is that we'll keep the protein powders in here for my sanity, and we'll keep the supplements in here for his sanity because he does not like seeing them on the counter. And honestly, I respect that. So it is heavy though. First up, creatine. It is one of the most researched supplements of all time. It's incredible for everyone, but particularly women. Great for helping to build muscle, great for brain health. Incredible, amazing, perfect. My dietitian was very happy to hear that I had already been taking this because he said he was going to recommend it. So next up was fish oil, which again, recommended by my dietitian. This was one that I had taken in the past, but I'd stopped taking because I didn't know if it was really doing anything, but we're back on fish oil. B12, again, because I'm a vegetarian. Vitamin C to support my immune system. Zinc also to support my immune system. Magnesium as kind of electrolyte support, and it's just really important for overall health, sleep. I do track and I'm not getting enough magnesium in my diet. So another goal of mine is healthy, strong bones. So a calcium and D3 supplement is really great for that. I also do try to prioritize getting calcium in my diet through eating dairy, especially for women in our 20s. So important to be making sure we're hitting calcium hard to build our bones as strong as possible because most of our bone strength comes from our younger years. The earlier in life we can prioritize this, the better. So definitely super important. And my dietitian was also happy to hear that I was taking this. So yay. You know, I am a teacher's pet type. I was happy to be getting gold stars in my appointment with my dietitian. As stupid as that sounds. Okay. Oh my gosh. Look at that hyperextended elbow. That's pretty crazy. Oh. You may be wondering, why don't you just take a multivitamin? That's a great question. I started only taking 1 or 2 pills a day, and I've slowly over time added more and more. It's gotten to the point now where it probably makes sense to look into a multivitamin to see if I can, not have to take 500 bajillion different pills every day. But the important thing to check for with a multivitamin is if you have vitamins or minerals in particular that you're interested in, making sure the dosage is correct. So if I can find a multivitamin that hits the appropriate dosage I'm looking for all these supplements, then that would be great. I really try not to rely too much on supplements and more so think of it as a way to fill in any gaps in my diet. So always thinking from an approach of here's a problem that I have or a deficiency that I have, and then doing the research to find out what is going to help me address that gap in the most affordable and easy way possible. But I try really hard to prioritize getting things through whole foods and through my diet first, because that is the optimal way to get nutrition for sure. And also in a lot of cases, it's the cheapest way. For my snack this afternoon, I'm going to make a little protein fiber toast. So I'm gonna do a green pea and edamame smash. So I'm just gonna pop this in the microwave. I'm also gonna toast up a slice of bread. So this one has some added fiber and some seeds in it. So just getting a little bit of extra bang for your buck. And I actually think this tastes really, really good. To be honest with you, a lot of the times I won't even toast this. I'll just eat this plain. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to use a food processor for this, but I'm just not getting that smooth consistency that I was going for. I hate doing the extra dishes, but I think it'll be worth it. I feel like this would be something you could meal prep at the start of the week, so hopefully you'd only have to wash the food processor once. You could also just throw the beans on top of toast and it would not be the end of the world, but I'm gonna go for it. Game time decision, she needs a little everything bagel seasoning, I think. That's really good. I think avocado would be great on this as well. Have you ever heard of avocado toast? Lemon juice was definitely necessary. I think otherwise it would just be a little bit bland, but that's great though. Highly recommend. Was just walking past my gorgeous lemons and discovered this. That's mold, if it wasn't clear. I got this lemon from the grocery store 3 days ago. So that is incredibly frustrating. And I'm probably gonna throw its friend away too, because now I'm suspicious lest we forget that I used one of these lemons this afternoon in my toast. I've honestly had it up to here though with produce going bad so quickly. Is it the grocery store I go to? Is it where I live? Am I bad at picking produce? I don't know. But honestly, I get most of my produce frozen at this point, and I don't think frozen lemons are really an option, but I am this close. Okay. Anyway though, I've just spent the last couple hours doing some editing and I'm definitely in my 3 p.m. afternoon slump. So I'm gonna have a protein smoothie. I find smoothies to be one of the easiest ways to get some protein and fiber in. So I'm gonna be doing a banana blackberry chocolate chip smoothie today. Blackberries are one of my favorite sources of fiber, and I'll be using frozen blackberries today because yeah, I will be enjoying my smoothie from my couch today. But I do love smoothies for when I need a quick meal on the go. If I have an appointment, or back when I worked my corporate job, I would take smoothies as breakfast a lot of the time. So if you're trying to save time, I have seen people meal prep their smoothies. I don't think blending it in advance and then making little ice cubes of the smoothie is gonna have great return on time invested. But what I have done in the past, and it does save you a little bit of time, not a ton, is putting pre-portioned fruit into a bag, keeping that in your freezer. But especially with smoothies where I only have a couple ingredients anyway, I'm kind of like, it's quick enough on its own, honestly. I'm also very behind on my water goals, so being hydrated is amazing in every single aspect except how often you have to get up and go pee. It's just super annoying, honestly. But yeah, it's 3 p.m. and I'm not even halfway to my water goal, so that's not great, but we'll see what we can do. I made my water a little bit too cold, so it almost hurts to drink. That was a skill issue. A little bit frosty, honestly. I wish I could blend it a little bit more, but my blender is kind of on its last legs and I'm trying to stretch it out a few more months before I need to buy a new one, so we're gonna leave a little bit of ice in here unblended. Yay! Now that is an afternoon treat. Great flavor combo. When you get a little chocolate chip in there, whew, that is good stuff. Okay, poll of the day. If you have a berry smoothie, do you chew the seeds or do you just swallow them? I don't know, can you hear this? it's probably not good for my teeth. And it drives my boyfriend absolutely insane. So it's probably for the best that he's not home right now and I can drink this smoothie in peace because I like chewing chia seeds and raspberry seeds and blackberry seeds. It's not even something I actively try to do. They're in my teeth and I chew them. I would love to hear in the comments if you are also a seed chewer. I know it's annoying, but I can't help it. So it is what it is. Do you know what? That's actually not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Last time I made salad, we had a bug in it, so I'm just kind of inspecting. I'm having a lot of issues with my produce lately, clearly. Okay, suspicious, gone. I feel like I need to explain this. The last time that we were getting pizza, we saw them using this shape of Parmesan. We decided to try it out, and honestly, it is kind of convenient. I don't know if it's like totally necessary, but it's much easier than the way that I would grate Parmesan before and end up with like this little nub that was very hard to grate without shaving off your fingers, so. Pizza I had for dinner is gluten-free, but only because it's my favorite frozen pizza I've ever had. It has a cauliflower crust. It's so chewy, perfect texture. I topped it with some of the filling from inside burrata. I think it's called stracciatella. I'll put the name on the screen because I'm sure I didn't pronounce that correctly. Red pepper flakes, Italian seasoning, hot honey. That's essential. If you haven't tried hot honey on pizza, highly recommend, and Parmesan for a little tiny bit of extra protein. Not a ton, but a little bit. I think the thing that's been the most helpful for me with eating healthy is finding my go-to meals and snacks and just repeating them, to be honest with you. It's not super exciting to eat the same thing 4 or 5 days of the week for dinner, but it saves me so much time, a lot of energy. I can do a lot fewer dishes when I can prep one salad dressing and use it every single night or, you know, whatever. But yeah, I'll mix up the flavors of smoothies that I'm making or the toppings I put on my Greek yogurt bowl or whatever, but a lot of these foods end up being staples in my diet that I repeat over and over with just like slight variations to keep things fun and interesting, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel every day, you know? I used to go to the grocery store and try to come up with 5 or 6 different recipes to cook for dinner every single week, and I ended up wasting a lot of food, feeling very frustrated and burnt out and like it would be impossible to eat healthy. Now I'm just like, whatever, I'll eat the same thing for dinner 5 days in a row, and as long as it's something that I really like and that I think tastes good, it's not that big of a deal to me. But yeah, when in doubt, keep it simple. I'm really sad because the last thing I wanted to share with you tonight was something my boyfriend and I started doing. To be honest, we just started doing this yesterday, so it's not like we've been doing this for a while, but we call it a popsicle walk. Pretty self-explanatory. You eat a popsicle while you go on an evening walk. We've been in a popsicle phase. A nice summer evening, walking around the neighborhood, enjoying a popsicle. It's incredible. Unfortunately though, our popsicle walk is canceled tonight because it's 8 o'clock, almost on the dot, and it's still 88 degrees outside. So that's not great. My personal limit is like 82. Anything above 82, I'm not okay. Even if the sun is low, it's not happening. I'm a little bit of a princess when it comes to temperatures. I prefer a nice 75. If we get too far above or below that, I'm not really doing well. But anyway, thank you so much to Nourish for sponsoring this video, and make sure to check out the link in my description to book your first appointment with a Nourish dietitian. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to subscribe because I upload new videos every week, and I will see you next time.